North Carolina has always had a rich musical heritage, and we're proud to be a part of such a great treasure.
Join Brooke and I as we talk to some of our favorite musicians, some good friends from our home state of North Carolina. Hear their story and see how bluegrass music has shaped their lives and their career. Well, hey folks, welcome to another edition of the Carolina Sessions with Darin and Brooke Aldridge. My special guest today is my longtime friend, great promoter of music and a good friend of bluegrass, Mr. Milton Harkey. How you doing, Milton?
Yeah, Darin, I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Doing great. It's a beautiful, starting to be fall day here in the Carolinas.
Yeah, we're
perfect weather.
Yep, sure is.
Well, tell me a little bit about your history, and I know you're a guitar player. I've seen you with a guitar in hand and some few older pictures of you doing that. So tell me a little bit about that. And is that your first instrument you played?
Well, the first one was a banjo, and it lasted 2 days. I've got 3 things to do with the right hand and do the whole fingerboard with my left hand. It's just too many moving parts. I said, no, right. I want guitar.
I hear you. Did you play in many bands or just kind of did a lot of jam sessions and things?
No. Excuse me. No, most of it was jam sessions, but I did play in a couple of bands. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're originally from where in North Carolina?
Asheville.
Asheville. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I played in a band with, played in a band called Sweeten Creek Ramblers a long time ago. And then I also played in a band with the Sutton family, Brian Sutton's and his family.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You know, Brian was about 8 or 10 years old.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Played with them for a few gigs. That was fun.
Yeah. Him and his dad, Jerry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great.
And then that's about it for me for playing. I think my strong suit was just being able to produce shows and that kind of thing.
Well, you've been a great promoter and did a lot of things in the Carolina state for shows. And tell me about the first probably festival or show you put on.
Well, it was a small thing, you know, just invite a few friends over and to a place in Lexington at the Mid-Carolina Electric Co-op building.
Uh-huh.
Had to get a stage out there and power and that kind of thing. And, you know, you run into a lot of details. First little thing you put on.
Right.
So, but we had a nice little crowd and had a lot of fun, and it was good. And then after that, I got involved. I started with some other people. Started the South Carolina Bluegrass Society in Columbia. I was living in Columbia at that time. Started it there, and then you know the next step there was, well, hey, we want a festival. Uh-oh. Well, let's get one. So we did, and we put on 2 or 3 there.
Yeah.
At that time, I was a DJ at one night a week for 3 hours on a 100-watt radio station, FM radio station in Columbia, WCOS FM at the time, and had a bluegrass show on there. Jim Walton, good buddy of mine.
Uh-huh.
And so that was pretty good. And so, I don't know, it was once we did that, we had the shows and the radio shows and the festivals. And after 2 or 3 years of that, and learning more about the music by being a DJ and going to shows and meeting people and meeting the bands, I just had an idea about Dole was coming out about that time.
Right.
And, you know, so I booked him a couple of times in Columbia, and then just had an idea to do the Dole, Lawson, and Quicksilver Family Style Bluegrass Festival.
Right. So that's the first big festival you did.
Yeah. So I called him and got with him, and he said, yeah, let's do it. So we did it for 17 years at Denton, North Carolina.
Oh yeah. Great festival.
Yeah, we kind of refer to that as the original Denton Festival. You know, they still have a festival there now, and it's a bluegrass type of festival, but
right.
Mostly it's a lot of campers and things like that. You know, when we had it there for 17 years, we had pickers all. I know you remember it.
Oh yeah.
Playing all over the place. And just.
I started, you know, going in the mid 90s to there, but the first one was what, maybe 85 or 84, or when was the first Denton? 81. So that was right after Dole started.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And had to plan it for a year. So it was pretty, you know, pretty much right on target. So we got it going, and I thought I booked Doyle and I booked The Seldom Seen. And my real goal at that time was to have Doyle and The Seldom Seen and The Country Gentleman on the same show.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be great. But then along came this guy named Tony Rice, who started with the Bluegrass Album Band recordings. And I just called Crow one day and said, what's Tony's number? He said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to do the album band. Denton, are you in? He said, I'm in. I said, okay.
Now, was that one of the first times the album band actually did a performance together?
Yeah, on the East Coast.
Right.
Yeah, they had done kind of a pickup one, so to speak, a kind of a quick one after recording one time in California.
Yeah.
And they did something out there, but this was the first real show that they put on that was out and advertised and everything.
Yeah.
So the first year when I had the show, and I made $84.
Ah.
And I remember walking up to John Duffy on Sunday, and I said, John, could I get one each of your albums? And he said, Duffy, yeah, I'll give them to you just for what I got in them. I said, well, you don't have anything in them. I said, Rounder gives you those to give to people like us to listen to you and play on the radio and things like that. But he was kidding. I thought he was kidding around. He charged me $36 for it. So I took $84 out and gave him 36 of it, and that was it for the first year.
Wow.
A lot of hard work and a lot of time involved and spent. And then I don't know, it just hit me one day to call Tony. So back to the Crow thing, I got his number from JD and I called him, and I don't know what it was, but we just hit it off.
Yeah. Well, I know that those festivals, people came from far and wide to come to Denton to jam and to see shows like that and to see the album band. And you brought in folks like Newgrass Revival and Hot Rise and Harley Allen and all the Quicksilver reunions, for people to see. I mean, it was just an awesome thing there at Denton, man.
Yeah, we had a lot of different things. I will tell you one quick story about Harley. One year I brought his daddy Red in to play with him, and Red played with Doyle and JD and Bobby Sloan and one of the incarnations of JD Crowe and the Kentucky Mountain Boys when they played
right.
at the Holiday Inn in Lexington, Kentucky. And I brought Red in to play with him one time, and Red got through playing. He was backstage. He said, Milton, come here. Okay. Walked over and he said, I'm going to bring Garcia with me next year. And I said, okay. And then it all hit me that he had done a project with Garcia.
Yeah.
Jerry Garcia, Grateful Dead. And unfortunately, Red passed away before the next year. He also said, not going to cost you a penny either. I'll just call him and tell him to come.
Yeah.
Like I said, okay, Red. And he would have done it probably, really, but I don't know.
I imagine so.
I don't know if I could have handled the crowd. I bet there would have been thousands of people.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry loved to play banjo and do that. I bet that'd have been awesome.
He sure did. Yes, sir.
Well, we'll go on real quick. Tell me about, I know that you're a founding member of IBMA.
Yeah.
I believe you told me that. How many people had gathered and y'all got together to start IBMA?
Well, there were 5 of us. And I called them and I said, well, can I bring Doyle with me? I thought Doyle might like to come up and be part of that too,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, bring him on. So there ended up, my recollection is 6 that actually started it.
How about that?
Yeah, it was me and Doyle and Ken Irwin from Rounder Records and Pete Kuykendall from Bluegrass Unlimited magazine.
Yeah.
No, escapes me who the other 2 were, but a couple more. And there we had it. And we did the formation of it. And then between then and the next meeting, some people in Owensboro, Kentucky got word of it. and they wanted us to come to Owensboro, and they provided offices and space for us to make Owensboro, Kentucky, the hometown of bluegrass music. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we partnered with them to build the River Park Center, which was the first home of the museum,
Right.
Bluegrass Museum, and built a performing arts center there, 1,600 seater. And so that was a lot of fun, and we tried to put IBMA on a good business format, you know, when we started, and we were fortunate enough to do that. Had a lot of good people helping out. Art Minius was a great help, and he was there, you know. But by the time the second meeting came around, we had like maybe 10 or 12 people there that really were, I mean, we'd get something done.
Right.
Barry Poss with Sugar Hill Records was there, and Orrin Friesen, DJ, tried to represent a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so we got it done, and then we looked around for an executive director, and you know, Dan Hayes was just, he was one of the ones we looked at and talked about and we really wanted. And so I gave him a call one day and said, would you like to come to Owensboro and talk about a job? And he said, yeah, it's 12 o'clock now. I can be there about 2:30. I said, well, you can do it today or tomorrow or whenever, but I'd like to talk with you. So he came up. I interviewed him, talked with him for a while, and then Terry Woodward, who was our Owensboro, Kentucky connection there, along with the Chamber of Commerce, of course, and we all interviewed him, and everybody was fine, and that was great, and that was one of the best things that we were able to do to get started and get the IBMA rolling and get some new programs in and feel our way through it from ground zero.
Right. I know they had Fan Fest up there and all the great shows at Owensboro. And was that one of the first places you had Pizza Hut showdowns? Was there?
Well, that was where we had the finals. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
The first year we had the Pizza Hut showdown in '92. We did it in several places, about 5 places throughout the United States, and one in Canada.
Wow.
We worked with Tony DeBoer up in Canada and some other folks. So we did that and brought it back to Owensboro, Kentucky. And actually we had it like IBMA started on Monday and we had the finals on Sunday, or once or twice we had them on Saturday night there. Right. So that's pretty cool.
So you've seen a lot of great bands grow and some young talent develop through those contests. I know Allison was a part of that in Owensboro, being a young kid. And I've heard the stories anyway.
Yeah, she was there. She was young, you know, and just getting started with Rounder and Ken Irwin and Ken. Everybody deserves a credit from her family, and people that were really helped her were not just her family, but also Ken Irwin's Rounder Records. He sort of knew how to guide and help her and direct her, and give her suggestions about songs that he thought would be good to help grow her career, and some of them did something right. I remember one time her dad was talking with me, and he said, Ken Irwin wants to do a video. What do you think of a video? I said, well, it can't hurt a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it'd be a pretty good idea. So, that was back before we really did videos, but Ken was on top of those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, he was great.
But yeah, she was there and just picking right out there with the rest of us, you know.
Right. Oh yeah.
Going from room to room. Where's the next jam session? Who's playing over there?
Right. Yeah. Group I played with here starting out was Carolina Crossfire, and I know they was in the competition with Allison's band in Owensboro that year. You know, late '80s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to be involved with the Pizza Hut showdown up in, I think, Banner Elk. And the first time probably I met you was up there, and that would have been in early '90s.
Yeah.
And really give me a good foundation and starting to play, you know. And then I started going to First Class Bluegrass, which I think you started in '94. Man, that's been a great festival every year in February.
Yeah, yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Actually, it was '96 when it got really started.
96.
And but anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and it's indoors, which is good. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's comfortable, you know. You have and and we have some people who bring their campers too.
Yeah.
It's not really known for being like a campground or anything.
Right. It's in a great hotel, and everybody's, stays in the room, and jam sessions all up and down, the great ballroom to have the shows, and restaurant inside. You don't have to worry about the weather. Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah, that's true. I had the idea for that, and I just sat down in my den in Asheville and got on the phone the old-fashioned way, the old-fashioned phones.
Yeah.
And I called. There's about 300 rooms in the hotel, and I said, "Well, I believe we could sell them out." So I just called, and it was a good show, and a good idea for the people, I thought.
Yeah.
And enough of them thought that it was too. So we sold out the hotel the first year, and it's sold out ever since. And
Right.
that's really been exciting for me, because every year I get excited about going back and try to present the music for the people that they want to hear.
Yeah. You always do a great job, Milton. I know that's the first time I ever got to see Quicksilver, the original lineup was there, and you're doing the reunions, and I think that's the last place Tony played with the album band too here just, several years ago. So he was one of the first ones to book them and the last ones to book them.
Yeah, I really was. And they, I got them to come to the award show at IBMA. I believe it was '91. And they came there and played. And then 32 years later, they played in Asheville at Bluegrass First Class. And that was it.
Right.
We didn't know if Tony was going to be able to make it. He was very fragile at that time and getting frail. And he told me he was coming, and that's all. And people would say, "Is Tony coming?" "Yep." "Is Tony coming?" "Yep." "Are you sure?" That's the last I heard he was coming. "Who'd you hear that from?" "From Tony."
I remember seeing you in the hallway that day, and he just had got there, and you looked at me and said, "He's here."
Man, I don't have to tell you. I think I slept some Thursday night. I didn't sleep any. I worked all day Friday, didn't sleep any Friday, worked all day Saturday, and we finally got him there, got him in the room. Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Sure did. Yeah, my boys used to go out and wait on him. We had to save him parking place.
Right. Oh yeah.
They go check the orange cones out there to be sure nobody moved them. They would write, "Do not park here," and put a little notice on the cones. "Don't park here.
No parking."
So when Tony got there, he knew where to go every year, and he just run right into that parking spot. And he called me and said, "1 hour."
Oh, that's great.
And that time, he said he pulled in at the last show there, and he had just gotten off the interstate into Asheville on 240. And he said, "Hey Milton, T-Bone here. 7 minutes." "Okay, buddy."
Oh, that's great. Well, we appreciate you putting all those shows together, and great acts, as much as you've done over the years. For me personally, thank you, and I'll thank you for all the fans and the folks that come out to the shows.
Well, it's been a lot of fun for me. I've got to hear a lot of, and I've heard, so much beautiful music. I don't even know how to describe it to you. And I've had the privilege of not picking with necessarily, just being there and listening to all the bands perform. And the album band, we did that tour in 1983, 11 cities in 11 days. They came to my house and rehearsed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could just stand there and hear that, I mean, it's like, you don't even, you really don't have an idea until you hear it. But even just other bands too, there have been so many beautiful singers and songs and things that I've been able to hear in this music. and I loved it. It's been very rewarding for me as far as being able to experience this music like that.
Yeah.
All different styles and kinds.
Well, you've been a great part in North Carolina bluegrass music history, and that's why we do these shows, is to educate folks on artists and about the genre and about the state. And what would you say is special about North Carolina musicians that gives it that Carolina style? For our last question here, before we run out of time, what you think gives our Carolina style, music?
Well, I would say that they do kind of what Tony Rice said at his speech at IBMA recently when he was inducted into the Hall of Honor. He said there's plenty of room for innovation and experimentation within the pillars of bluegrass music. And I'd say most of the players around here stay within the pillars of bluegrass music. And that's what the people want to hear. We always have to remember, it's not about even the musicians, or least of all me. It's about the people that come pay the money to buy the tickets to come hear the events, and to come hear musicians and people sing and play. And as long as we keep that in mind, and we try to play what they want to hear rather than here's what I play, I'd like you to like me kind of thing. The bands that are in North Carolina, they play more what the audience want to hear too.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And you can find any level of picking around here. You can find, if you're a beginning banjo player, you can find a beginning banjo player to teach you, or you can go get Craig Smith to teach you if you want to, and he can take you as far as you want to go, and a lot of others, just him.
Right.
So there's a lot of it around, and once you get involved in it, you know where to go, you know the people to go to, and people can help you put bands together, things like that. So I think that's been the big thing with and so many people just have little pickings, little jam sessions, little backyard pickings and things like that.
That's what's great about North Carolina, is all those small places, Yeah.
I'm going to one tomorrow night. They're having a picnic down there. They invited me to come, so I'm going to head down and go out there and just enjoy myself for the evening.
Right on.
Have a good time. But I think that's what it is here. And then, but there are also plenty of pickers and around other places too. Now you'd be surprised, excuse me, if you think they're not, because with the showdown, I saw great musicians all over the country, and hundreds of bands came through that Pizza Hut International Bluegrass Showdown.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a big thing, and bluegrass music is doing well. And I think the bands that continue to play the music and stay within the pillars of the music, as long as that's what the people want to hear. Now, if you're playing a rock concert and you get booked, I guess you can let it all hang out for a while if you want to.
Yeah.
Not within any kind of pillars of bluegrass, but it's just a matter of where you're playing and who your audience is. And I believe bands are understanding that more and more now.
Right. Well, man, we appreciate you joining me for this show and this segment for Carolina Sessions. Folks, go out and check out Milton Harkey's festival, the First Class Bluegrass. It's in February every year. It's a great show. And for me personally, thank you for being involved in the music and being a great influence on me and many others that's come to Denton and come to First Class. I remember I came to Advance and, the show in Greensboro. It was a great show too. And
Bluegrass.
That's right.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure too, Darin, to see people who made it in the music, that tell me what you saying now, that the shows have influenced them some and that kind of thing, and I more so than just putting on an event. That means more to me, I think, than anything, is that it's had some furtherance into the music, and to be able to provide that for you and lots of other people, and you and I could sit here and name
a bunch
of them. So, but means a lot that they've been able to get something out of that and enjoy it. And I'm glad that we've met. We've been able to work with each other along the way.
Absolutely. Well, I am too, buddy. Many more years to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give my best to Brooke.
All righty. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.